to the basement.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Basement Boys podcast. I am Chris Gray. That is Devin Mitchell. I actually know where the fuck to point this time.
One of the perks of being in the same room.
Yeah. So jumping into it right away. Y'all know how this is gonna begin. I'm fucking pissed.
Why you pissed?
Fuck, man. I hate the Jets. I hate them so much. All right. In football news, the Jets decide, let's just take every single player we've ever had that had talent and kick them out the fucking door, all right?
See you later.
I think a piece of my slipper just fell off.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so the Jets released Le'Veon Bell, which I guess they really had no trade market for him with his contract, which I get, kind of. Not really. But, and look, I get it. He was not the return on investment you wanted. He never had a 100-yard game.
Mm-hmm.
He was averaging 80 yards a game, which is not terrible.
Nope.
But $13.5 million a year, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, he was down 50 yards per game from his time with the Steelers, and it just wasn't working out. I get it, but you gave him no shot.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, like I've said before on this show, that when Frank Gore was the main running back, Gase gave him every single snap almost, it felt like.
Yep.
He would not let fucking Sam touch the ball. But the second Le'Veon comes back, again, not used.
Right.
I don't get it. I understand he's not being the Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers, but you also have the worst line I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Mekhi Becton.
Well, let's get one thing clear. They fucked up everything.
Yeah.
It was Mike McCagnon who paid Lev Bell 4 years, $52 some odd million or whatever, making him, I think, the highest paid running back at the time. I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
I don't think it was the highest, but it's up there.
But
Top
got
10.
paid a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And then about a month, 2 months later or so, see you later, have a good day, out the door. Then you got Joe Douglas in, who brings in Adam Gase, who goes on record, I think a week into camp of him being there, being like, I wouldn't have paid running back.
Joe Douglas didn't bring in Gase. Gase was there first, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gase had a season with McCagnon, I believe. Or no, he was going into that season with McCagnon, and then he was already hired.
Okay, my apologies. But Gase did go on record and say that he wouldn't have paid a running back that kind of money.
Right.
And right from the get-go, sorry. It's just hey, you already kind of have a bad taste in your mouth for this high caliber of a player. Someone that won't be a game changer like he was in Pittsburgh, but someone who could still help your team, still help Sam Darnold.
See, I disagree there. I think if you gave him opportunities, if you gave him even somewhat of a line,
Mhm.
he could still be a very big game changer. Maybe not at this point in his career. Maybe he doesn't have the durability of an every down back.
Yeah.
But there's still insane value in Lev Bell. Maybe not Derrick Henry value.
Well, that boy is a different animal.
Right. But one of these running, I don't know, like a Mark Ingram, kind of like what the running back does for Kamini does for Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean?
Gives him another weapon, another insurance piece, if you will, when, hey, he doesn't have to try to force something to happen. He could either, check down to your running back or hand off, and, hey, you get 5-6 yards on one down. That's pretty damn good in my book.
And Lev Bell can still break plays. He still has that patience, just the waiting for the play to actually play out.
Mm-hmm.
There just was no playing out
Right.
in the Jets.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
They had no line, and Adam Gase's whole playbook is absolutely terrible.
right,
So
unless Frank Gore's in the game, and then it's just give the ball to Frank Gore. And look, I love Frank Gore.
yeah,
I got nothing against him. But
yeah. I
the
say
minutes,
none of this against Frank Gore.
but the minute the Jets signed Frank Gore, that basically marked the end of Lev Bell. Because, in my personal opinion, because like we all know how Gase is with his former players, and we all know how he was with Lev Bell. It's just made no sense as to like why bring in a veteran that played for you, who you know what can do, instead of having like a mentor to or a transitional running back for Michael P. Ryan
Um,
for the future.
I don't actually don't hate. I wouldn't have hated it if they just brought him in just for the fact of just like that running back by committee thing, because running back was not really out of everything the Jets needed to get done. Running back was not their concern. They had Lev Bell.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the money you got Frank Gore for, you know what I mean? And he's like, Frank Gore is not the Frank Gore from Buffalo. Like, he's not the Frank Gore from Miami. He's not anything like that anymore, but he's still a valuable asset.
Right.
He still understands the league. He still has the toughness to just go in there and bust heads and get you your 2, 3, 4 yard return, which is what you're looking for a lot of the time.
Right.
Um,
No, what's crazy is that his son's playing college football.
that is actually fucking crazy.
And I mean, I know it's a long shot, but there's a slight possibility
That they
they
can both
both
play.
be in the league at the same time.
What does his son play?
I don't know, some school, I think in
No, I mean,
Oh.
like what position?
Court. What do you think? Running back.
Okay. So, you imagine just Frank Gore and his kid, the 1-2 punch on a team? Like,
Yo, Baltimore Ravens, they got the Heisman package. Some team could have the father-son package.
yeah, right? That's fucking crazy.
And his son looks like a thumper too, just like his daddy. So I don't know what's worse, getting bulldozed by Frank Gore Sr. or possibly getting bulldozed by a younger Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah, right?
Either way, Frank Gore is going to knock someone over.
I feel like Frank Gore Sr. is a little meaner, but Frank Gore Jr. just has that youthful energy.
Oh, yeah.
That just punch in the math energy. But yeah, it's just, I don't get why you do it now.
Right.
At
I mean,
least,
the
like,
money's already owed to him.
yeah.
He can sign anywhere for the minimum, and I think the Jets are still owe him $6 million for the rest of the season. I'm not sure if it would have been, it made more sense just to release him at the end of the season, because he's got no guaranteed money after this season's done. And that way, you save yourself a little bit of cash.
The only thing the reason I could see why they did it is, I guess after the last game and the terrible performance and him not being used, he went to the front office and be like, look, like, you guys understand I'm Lev Bell, right? Like, maybe use me.
Right.
And I guess they had a little altercation, like nothing like physical, nothing crazy, but just a disagreement.
A heated discussion, if you will.
Yeah. So I guess that's where they decided, like, hey, we're just gonna cut it here.
Mhm.
But I don't know, man. I don't understand why the Jets have always had this desire to take whatever players they have with any type of skill and fucking kick them right out the door.
It makes no sense. Look, I'm not a GM. I'm not an NFL exec. But I know you got to keep some of them stars. Like, if you wanna succeed, you need at least one star to get you over that mountain.
I don't think we have anyone even close to a star right now.
Not right now.
Like, Mekhi Becton could be good, Sam Darnold could be good, but they don't have the pieces around them to allow that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But speaking of LaBelle, where do you think he ends up now?
I don't want to say it. I hate Bill Belichick. He's so good at finding these value players. Because Lev's already getting paid for the rest of the year by the Jets anyway, so he'll probably take a more team-friendly deal, especially if it's with a contender.
Oh, definitely.
And the Patriots are doing good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even, like, Cam Newton's going to come back, hopefully. Like,
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, this Rona shit, you can't predict anything, but Cam's a strong, healthy guy. I don't see any reason why anything would go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, hoping for the quickest recovery, obviously. But, because I can't even hate Cam Newton on the Patriots. I just love Cam Newton.
I mean, Cam Newton's playing like a different animal. It's basically revenge season for Cam.
Yeah. Yeah, just so I think that's a big play. I don't think he goes somewhere that's not a contender.
I could see him going to the Patriots because, like you said, Bill Belichick is a master manipulator. Although they already have a crowded running back room. So I wonder who would get cut. That's a hard part because usually it's James White for receiving. Rex Burkhead's kind of your multi-purpose Swiss Army knife. Then you got Damian Harris, who is your upstart rookie, and Sony Michel, who's had his injury problems, but when healthy, he's a solid back.
I know, but out of all of them, I'm going Sony Michel.
I would go with Rex Burkhead.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Rex Burkhead, like you said, that little more Swiss Army knife type thing, and he went off the other day.
Yeah, he did.
I think he is just more useful
Mm-hmm.
than Sony Michel is. Not that Sony Michel isn't a great back, but I think Sony Michel highly benefits from the Belichick system,
Mhm.
like how their offense is run. And I also think just he's elevated again by like the committee situation
Yeah.
where Lev Bell, if he's elevated by the committee situation, that's a whole different level of elevation. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's not a big move for him. That's another reason because I feel like people don't take that into account as often. Like, if say I'm on the Jets.
Yep.
And I got cut, and the Giants were a contender and blah, 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 and they were willing to sign me, even if I had, like, an offer from LA for a little bit more money, I'd probably just take that because I don't have to change anything, really.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's just me personally. So I think the closeness of it would probably help, too. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
only a few hours away. It's not so much of a life change.
I could also see him going to Chicago.
Especially with, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
David Montgomery.
Yes.
He's the only like healthy back they got
No,
right
no,
now.
I'm saying Tariq Cohen went down.
Oh yeah.
So they need just another person there, and now that Foles is there, they look like they might be primed for a run.
Right. And scary thing is that like Rinsky had him 3-0 before he got benched.
Yeah,
So just think like
but I don't know if that was Trubisky. You know what I mean?
yeah, but just think like if Trubinsky has him at 3-0 with all his faults and
Yeah.
mistakes, and then you bring in that veteran, solid Super Bowl winning champ, Philly special Nick Foles. Yeah, that team that could make a run.
Yeah, and I feel like Nick Foles only does well when you're expecting him to do absolute trash.
Yep.
But when you're expecting him to do good, he does not play well.
Right.
Because the whole thing happened with the Eagles, win the Super Bowl, gets moved to the
Jaguars.
Jacksonville, yeah, and plays fucking terribly. Gardner Minshew comes in, lights it up, everyone's happy.
I think he also got injured too.
That's why Gardner came in, but he was not playing well before that.
Yeah.
And then he moves to Chicago. Trubisky's back up, just expecting to be a backup again. Trubisky shits the bed. He gets put in, and he's been lighting it up ever since.
Mhm.
That's just the Nick Foles way. I feel like him and Ryan Fitzpatrick are very similar to me in like that.
I mean, he's
When you're expecting something from Ryan Fitzpatrick, he has a terrible game. When you're not expecting anything from Ryan Fitzpatrick, he'll throw fucking 6 touchdowns.
Nick Foles might be trying to get membership to the Journeyman's Club of the NFL.
I mean, I think he's kind of already there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been on the Rams, I think twice. Eagles, twice. Jaguars, Bears. That's only maybe like 1 or 2 teams less than Fitzpatrick and Josh McCown.
No one's touching Josh McCown. Josh McCown's been on every single team in the league, and 6 that were defunct in 1982.
But no, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. Lev Bell will clear waivers at 4 p.m. today.
Yeah.
So who knows? By the time this comes out, he might already be signed. or he might be like Earl Thomas and just be waiting for that phone call.
No, because he's not. He's not. Earl Thomas is considered a problem. Like Lev Bell can become a problem if you're not doing the right things by him. But like even when you said before, Gase comes out in the beginning and it's just like, oh, I wouldn't have paid a quarterback for them. He came out and he was just like, yo, this is this man's opinion.
Right.
Like I get it. It's a lot of money, and he might be a more pass heavy guy. He might be like that's his opinion. He's not saying anything about me personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's anyone. He wouldn't pay fucking Christian McCaffrey that money.
Right.
Like he handled all these things in stride until it came to here. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only real thing that he kind of mouthed up a little bit is when Jamal Adams left. He was just like, "Really, bruh?
Right.
Like you do all this hooting and hollering to get me over here, and now,
You're leaving.
yeah, a year later you're out. Like fuck you, my guy."
So
imagine he went to Seattle, just walking in. Yo, what up, Jamal? How you feel?
Yo, could I just, if that happened, could I just sit in on that practice?
Right?
Because I know they would. Oh my god, elbows
Oh,
might get
man.
thrown.
For real.
But
Because then he just started talking mad shit.
Right. so I was going to ask you, how hot is Gase's seat? Because with Bill O'Brien getting fired after 0-4,
They're
Dan
not.
Quinn
I've
getting fired after 0-5.
I've been having this argument with everyone. They're not going to fire him in the middle of the season. They won't do it. They never do it. It does not matter how bad everything's going.
Mhm.
They will not fire him mid-season. If it's going to happen, it's going to be at the end of the season. And I do believe his seat's cooking a little bit, though. Like it does not look good for him at the end of the season. He really has to show something. Because this is the most haphazard team I've ever seen in my life. And it just should not be that way. I understand everyone's getting injured. That MetLife Stadium field is killing everyone, apparently.
Allegedly.
But still, it's just the play calling's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone made, I can't remember who it was, but someone made the point of, what's his name? Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
He's coming in. He has no real weapons over at the Chargers. But he's making things happen because the scheme he's in, and he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's in a good scheme. He's in, like, you know what I mean? Like, he has opportunities where no one on the Jets team even has an opportunity to make any type of play.
Right.
Because all he wants to throw is little out routes. And again, we've said it before, Sam Darnold loves an out route. You can't just throw the same fucking play every time and expect it to work. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, these are grown-ass men with pretty goddamn smart brains. They're going to pick up on that real fast.
And are getting paid millions of dollars to do exactly that.
Right.
So, I hate the Jets. I hate football. I hate Adam Gase. Joe Douglas, you're okay. So far. And I hate the Johnsons. I hate today.
Yeah, they're not doing any favors for any Jet fans out there.
All right, so now that I am nice and sufficiently miserable, I guess let's go around the league a little bit. Big news in the NFL.
Oh, right, I forgot. There's other teams making news.
So, Chiefs finally fall to the Raiders of all teams.
Yep.
That was Derek Carr straight up. Derek Carr just straight up went, like, I'm sure in his head was thinking, yeah, John Gruden, fucking who's not your quarterback now? Like, get the fuck out my face.
Oh, yeah.
He went off. It was fucking amazing. Like, this is the Derek Carr that you thought this was the Carr you thought you were going to get with his brother before he got the just shit kicked out of him.
Yep.
So that was really cool to see. It really exposed Kansas City's defense. When they're playing from a lead and they know you're just going to throw the ball, cool. Bet all day. But when they get slapped around a little bit, a little punch in the mouth, they didn't really have any answers.
Yeah, I feel like it's always easier to play when you have the lead because you are now controlling the game.
Yeah.
Especially if you get, if you're up by like 2 touchdowns, 3 scores, whatever it may be, okay, they have to throw. So we
you
could just go into like a zone defense, sit back.
and you can play that bend and don't break game.
Right. If we keep them out the end zone, awesome. If we let them get a field goal, it's all right. We'll score some more points, and it's not as bad. But when you're right there going toe to toe, they score, you answer back, and you're trying to get the lead, and then you're like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, is this run play? All right, let's blitz. Fuck, they read the blitz. Now they check down or audible to something else, and, you got a man open on the running a go route or something like that, and he just scored a touchdown. It's just like, what the fuck is happening?
The only thing that worries, I'm gonna bring it back to the Jets again, but the only thing that worries me about something like this is I'm afraid because again the Johnsons are absolute fucking idiots. They're gonna see something like this because 2 years ago everyone was just like fucking John Gruden. They paid this guy $10 million. What the fuck are they thinking? 10 years? This guy's absolute trash. But then they worked through it. They got through it. They got the pieces they needed. And look at them now. They're doing what a John Gruden team should do.
Yep.
So that fucking scares me because that could put the seed in Christopher Johnson's head, like, just trust the process. He'll get there. And then in 10 years, when Gase is still the head coach and we've won 3 games, we'll have a lot of high draft picks.
Yeah, too bad they won't be on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably trade them all away.
Oh my God, I hate everything.
Yeah, that's bad news Bears right there.
Yeah. Got it. We were talking about the Bears.
Hey! It's the only way they make news now.
Actually, we moved on to the Raiders, so that didn't even work.
Bad news Raiders?
There's actually good news Raiders.
Well, now my world's upside down. So, speaking of worlds getting upside down, how about the Tennessee Titans?
Oh.
You have
Josh
at least 20 some odd positive cases of COVID, have maybe like 2-3 practices, and they're just walkthroughs at that. And then you come into town. Buffalo Bills come into town, and everyone's sleeping on the Titans. And I'm not gonna lie, I slept on them too.
100%.
I thought they were gonna be trash last night, and yo, they were not trash.
Yo, fucking Tannehill looked at Derrick Henry and went, "You have COVID?"
Nope.
Derrick Henry went, "You have COVID?"
Nope.
Okay, cool. So we're good.
Yeah.
And they fucking carried that team on their backs. And then fucking Derrick Henry murdered Josh Norman.
That might be the
Rest in peace, my guy.
that stiff arm that Derrick Henry laid on Josh Norman might be the stiff arm of the decade.
Oh my God. Like, we thought we saw some cool ones last year, but he straight up threw that man like he was a football.
Yeah. He said, "Get the fuck off me. Get out of my way."
Not even get the fuck off me. He didn't even have a chance. He was just running. Oh shit, I am sideways.
And that was a beautiful stiff arm. Like, right in the shoulder, clean.
Caught him right under the pad.
Yep.
Just to get that little extra lift.
And I love his response afterwards. I do a lot of curls. I might have to stop.
Yo, I've been doing all these curls, man. Just fucking.
Like, acting like it's no big deal. Acting like he's been there before.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. He has.
Yeah. Well, the Bills got a little bit exposed there too, huh?
Yeah, they did. I don't know if it was, just a bad week for them. And I know they were dealing with their own injuries. Or if it was just the fact that the Titans were like, we have not played in 2 weeks now.
I'm about to murder somebody.
Right. Like, I feel like they were all like little aggressive little dogs that were just like, yo, let's go. Let us off the leash. Let us off the leash.
I also think it put a little chip on their shoulder that they had to sit out the 2 weeks and they were talked about like, oh, they have no shot, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is the team that's going to fuck it up for everyone. So they had that little chip on their shoulder being like, all right, we need to do something here. We need to prove that, like, yeah, while this shit happened to us, that it sucks. Like, next man up, we're going to get it. And we're still a problem.
Oh, yeah. Next man up, definitely. Their fucking receiving core was just like practice squad members. And A.J. Brown making his long-awaited debut. Long-awaited return.
another example of when a good scheme can help out maybe not the best players.
Mm-hmm.
But
whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Oh, it's here, it's there, it's everywhere, Dev.
All right, I was trying to be nice, but fine. You know what? It's not the Jets.
All right. Any other big football news you got?
Might be trouble in Baltimore. They're kind of looking pedestrian. I mean, Lamar Jackson. My mistake. Still great quarterback, but the running game kind of like not really there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's something going on between the ears for Lamar, or if it's play calling, or if teams are just better cued on him. But he's not looking like what everyone thought he was going to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was going to take a little bit of a down spell this year because you figure him out a little more.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes did it in his second year, even though he won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, it wasn't that first year when he was throwing left-handed and fucking breaking off for 80 yards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you knew he was going to take a little bit of a step back because people game plan for Lamar now, where
Right.
especially early in the season when he came in, like, you didn't know what he was going to be. Everyone was still on that fucking, oh, he's a wide receiver, running back bullshit. Like, but just once you show you're a threat, teams are going to take it as such.
Right.
And that's what happened. And his old buddy, Joe Fleck.
Starting quarterback for the New York Jets, Joe
Shut
Flacco.
the fuck up. That's what I was getting at. But I still don't want you to say it.
You opened the door cracked. I just kicked it down.
Well.
Kind of like Aaron Darnold. Speaking of Aaron Darnold, I forgot to mention, Alex Smith made his...
Oh, fuck. How did we forget that, dude? The fucking GOAT!
Yo, future comeback player of the year.
Of the century.
Came back, and you never want to see anyone get injured, but I'm glad he played. I'm glad he got hit a couple times, and he got right back up.
He gave Aaron Darnold a piggyback ride, bro.
Yeah.
On a leg that was fucking half gone like last year.
No, 2 years ago.
I know, but he was still rehabbing and shit last year. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much of it. His whole fucking front of his leg was gone, dude.
I know. We saw bone. You're not supposed to see bone. Like,
oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, that was like that was like an emotional moment.
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I felt that when they were showing his family and like how they were like freaking out and going everything for him. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was just one of those, like, especially because he came in and he played pretty well. Like,
Yeah.
he
kept them in the game. I think they only lost by like a...
he did better than Haskins.
Yeah.
That
sucks for him.
Yeah. I feel like he did it to himself, but we'll get to that after. But yeah, just feel good story of the century. Like, if you're not rooting for this guy, like, go fuck yourself. Like,
Mhm.
you're not my friend. Like, a guy who came back after all that. Not only he didn't know if he was gonna walk again. He didn't know if he was gonna lose that leg. That was like a definite possibility he was dealing with. And then all of a sudden, he's back in the NFL, a starting quarterback in the well, not yet, but he's presumed
be,
to
potentially.
presumed to be. Yeah, I just don't. Can you imagine if they made a run? Like,
Yo, with
Just-
Alex Smith.
yeah, just for Ron Rivera and Alex Smith. Just, I would want it for them. I'd root for it for them.
Can you change the name to the Washington Feel Good Story?
Yeah, right?
Football team? Because, holy crap.
I mean, they're in your division, and they're like a pretty big rival for you, and you, like, I would just imagine you would probably be like, you know what, I'm happy about this.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking love Ron Riverboat Rivera. Like, great dude, great defensive coach.
Coaching while fighting cancer.
Yeah. And then Alex Smith, what's there not to love about him? You know, comes in, works hard, gets cut. Okay, no big deal. go back to a new team, run shit there, gets cuts again, goes to another team, run shit there, gets decimated, and then comes back with God knows what's holding his leg together and plays well.
Yeah.
That's a Hallmark movie right there.
No, for real. Like, this is gonna be his fucking like midday fucking Hallmark fucking A&E release in like 6 years.
Oh yeah, all the moms are gonna know about them.
Oh yeah, but he got out because Dwayne Haskins is feeling himself a little too much.
Oh yeah,
from all reports.
yeah.
Like, prove something first. Like, I get that you want to have that, like, especially being a quarterback, you want to have that swag, you want to have that confidence in yourself, but apparently he's cocky, he's not putting in the work, and these are all the reports coming from the team. We don't know that per se, but yeah, if the reports are to be believed, like, you can't come in like that. You haven't proved anything yet. Yeah, you were good in college, but that's college.
Right.
How many players have we seen that were good in college?
And then fizzle out a lot.
And he didn't even, like, fizzle out. He didn't even have the flash yet.
Yeah.
To fizzle out. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but Kyler Murray's having success because he committed.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson's having success because he committed to that team. Patrick Mahomes, all these people, they're having success because they put their head down, they're working their asses off, and they're getting it.
Yep.
They can say what they want about the team. They can say what they want about being paid because they've proven they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
They've proven they can put in the work. I think he probably gets dealt too, if I had to guess.
Which is, I know it's rare that you see a first-round quarterback. Actually, no, it's not that rare because Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
That happened to him.
He's been bouncing around forever.
I think he's in the.
He's on someone's practice squad.
I think he's Tampa Bay's practice squad.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, hey, that might be good for him. Learn something from Tom Brady, but not a good look.
Yeah.
When you're getting bench, and not just bench, not even dressed.
Yeah.
For the game, where they're like, hey, Alex Smith is doing a better job than you. He deserves to be here. Go watch some film.
Like, this guy didn't have a leg.
Right.
Like a year and a half ago. And he's still putting in 10 times more work than you.
Mm-hmm.
Have a seat.
Take notes.
Yeah, and that's all they could really do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess moving on from one sad news sport for us to another sad news sport for us. Yankees have officially been eliminated. Absolutely trash. But
this was the year.
Yeah. I don't understand how that last game went. Like, I don't understand how it went how it did. Because your pitching did what you need your pitching to do. You just couldn't score a run.
Right.
You're the Yankees. Scoring runs is what you do.
Exactly. If it's short ball, if it's long ball, like, you had the weapons in there.
Oh, no, it's just long ball.
Well, there was a while where they kind of were like, oh, yeah, we can play small ball, too.
They were piecing it together a little bit, but let's be honest on who the Yankees are.
That is true. Their bread and butter is the long ball and stuff. But it's disappointing because this is what, the
third year now that we had real high expectations?
Yeah, where they've come up short. I mean, Steinbrenner has come out and apologized to all fans out there and has said that Aaron Boone will be back next year.
Which, yeah, I don't think it's Boone.
No, I think Boone puts the team in the spot to succeed better than, like, a lot of other managers out there. And I don't know if it's just the bright lights of the playoffs or the players, like, get inside their own heads or whatever it may be, but it seems like every playoff season for, like, the last 3 years or whatnot, the bats fall silent.
I feel like I do feel like analytics are good. I feel like they're a little too analytical.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still think there is the value in if a person, like, you know those nights where you're playing, like, pick up basketball with your friends, or, like, when you were younger on, like a youth team or something like that, where you walk into the room and you can say, oh, yo, Dev's feeling it tonight. You know what I mean?
Oh, I miss those days.
Those analytics might not say that Dev's going to have, say we're playing basketball, he might not normally have 30 points, but you can go in there and you see like, oh, he's feeling himself today. His timing's on, his whatever. He's going to go off today. I can just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's still some value in that. I think and analytics can't predict that. So I think the Yankees have gone a little too
Analytical.
Yeah. And you saw that with the weird pitching thing they did for J-Happ.
What was it? They pitched him like one batter and then...
No, I can't remember who they brought in, but they had an opener, put him in for one inning, but then immediately started, like, while the inning was going on, started warming up J-Happ, so you knew he was coming in next inning.
Right.
So what they were trying to do is put a righty and then a lefty, or a lefty and then a righty, I don't remember. But to try to see if they might pinch hit for someone, get some of their guys out of the game, switch up the lineup a little bit. But when you start the guy and then right away you're warming up the guy who is supposed to be your starter, they know they just have to get through the inning.
Right.
So it's a bad matchup for them right now. They get through the inning and they're going to fucking lay on Happ, which is what happened. I don't know. I don't know why they put Happ there to begin with.
Might have been a healthy arm.
I know, but they still had Montgomery, who pitched lights out in the playoffs.
Yep.
Happ has not been firing this season.
You know what? It probably goes back to analytics.
I'm sure it does.
They probably powered up the computer, and it said that Happ gave them the best start against this potential lineup, whatever it may be. So they were like, all right, let's do it. But one thing I miss is the old school just feeling it.
Yeah.
And having a manager just watching the game. You could take the analytics. You can listen to what they're saying. And then you'd be like, all right, cool. Well, you know what, though? My man over here is feeling himself right now. He's catching fire. We ain't going to fuck with this. We're going to let it ride out.
Yeah, there is a human aspect to sports.
Right.
There are days where you just feel better. You feel locked in. There are days where I come and sit down for this podcast where I'm locked in. I know exactly what I'm going to say. Like, things are coming off my tongue. And then there are days where I come in and I feel like I'm fighting for the words to say.
Right.
It's these types of things that make sports fun. So when you, like, I'm not saying that 95% of the time you can't go analytics, but you need to know the time where you're just like, yo, I need to go with my gut on this one. And sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to lose.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it still needs to happen, especially in sports, because there's so many variables. Sometimes people are just having a bad day.
Right.
Sometimes their kid's sick, their wife's mad at them, blah, 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 blah. They're just tired and stressed out and really not there.
Right.
And then there are days where they're locked in.
Right. Everything, you wake up, sun shining, everything's going perfect. You might find like $1 bill on the floor, and everything's coming up your way. And you're like, yo, I'm going to destroy the opponent I'm going up against.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you don't know what's going on in their lives. Wives could be upset. Girlfriends could be upset. They might got a parking ticket. They try to pull some stunt where they're like, don't you know who I am? And someone's like, no.
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, I'm just going to go curl up in a ball right now and think about my life and all that stuff.
So, like I said, I'm not trying to be one of those people where like analytics are garbage. No, analytics are good. Analytics let you see where you need to improve, where you need to do this, that, and the third. But there is still value, and there still needs to be a time where you're like, I understand analytics say this, but this guy's feeling himself today. Like, he's the one who's locked in. He's the one who's doing this, that, or the third.
You got to find that right balance.
Right. Which I feel like can be hard sometimes.
Oh, it definitely is.
But I definitely think the Yankees are going a little too far with it. But just moving on in the same realm, thank God that at the very least, if we didn't win, Tampa is doing work on the Astros right now.
Yeah, they are.
Because if they got to the World Series this season, and God forbid they won a World Series this season,
You would never hear the end of it.
oh my God, Houston fans would be going off. Oh, trash can bullshit, blah, 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 blah,
We don't
blah,
need
blah,
trash cans. We can still win, blah, 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 this and that.
I'm so happy they're doing bad, and I hope they keep doing bad. And yeah, it's a lot easier to get here than it is to finish the job. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the Rays are doing well against them, and then the Dodgers are down too. That's insane.
I feel like the Dodgers always get into this same boat almost as the Yankees, where the last couple of years they're expected to make a run. They're expected to go deep into the playoffs, and then if it's injuries or Kershaw not being able to pitch or just having like rough nights, they all just falter at the end. Like they made a great effort last night against the Braves. Came down, I think they were down like 4 or 5 runs, and had it. They were down by 1 at the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs left, and everything was looking good. And then unfortunately, they grounded out to first, and the game right there, Braves go home with go back to the hotel with a 2-0 lead. But I feel like Dodgers is the same old thing. They might not always be down 2-0, but I feel like come this round, they're always fighting from behind.
And like they stall out a little bit once they get here.
Yeah. Because on paper, that team should easily be able to walk through the National League.
Yeah, if this was just a random 7-game series halfway through the season, they would. I'm fully committed to say that they would probably win that series.
Yeah.
But they seem to stall out right here like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it should still be interesting. I wouldn't mind a Braves Tampa playoffs. Like I feel like that could be fun.
Especially with Tampa's defense.
Yeah.
Those kids just look like, hey, I'm okay with, making this flashy play. I'll run into the wall. I'll dive like 20 feet, become Superman for 5 seconds, make this out, and rob a home run at the same time. Like,
yeah.
That's what they seem like they're all about, is just defense
and pitching.
Yeah.
They don't really have the bats, but they don't need the bats because their pitching gives up nothing.
Right.
But yeah, just please keep the Astros out. That's all I fucking care about whatsoever. And then I guess moving on to basketball.
Yeah.
LeBron brings home number 4.
Number 4.
And he wants his damn respect, all right? Put some respect on his name.
Yo, Lakers are now tied with the Celtics for 17 championships, most in the NBA, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like I said, I kept switching who I wanted to win every game, but I am very happy to see LeBron get another win. I'm kind of happy to see LeBron feel himself a little bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he usually shies away from calling himself, like, the GOAT or whatever. Like, he's always talking about it's chasing goats. But, like, he's come out after this thing. It's just like, okay, what made-up metric are you going to, that no one else has done, are you going to measure me on now?
Right.
Like, I'm here. He's done it with 3 separate teams. He's done it in the East. He's done it in the West. He's done it with no one. He's done it with everyone. He's done it with one of the best big twos I've ever seen in a long time, with Rajon Rondo and Dwight Howard in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think... Oh, I'm about to get killed for this, but let's do it. I honestly have to say, at this point, and I've kind of felt this way for a while now, but this just kind of cements it, I think LeBron's the GOAT. I love Michael. I think he's up there, and I think you can never not keep him in that conversation. But like I said last week, the game evolves.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing all these things in a game that the average player these days is like a Scottie Pippen at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Where back then, because this is a point that I didn't bring up last week, but I really feel pretty strongly about. the pay boom in the NBA happened with Michael.
Yep.
I mean, they weren't making chump change. So, because the pay boom went up, more people would pivot towards that sport.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand, some of these players that are the goats of their generation, they were playing against the fucking Steve in accounting, basically. The level of play is just so much higher than when Wilt was playing, than
Right.
when Magic was playing, than when even Michael was playing.
Right.
Because the game evolves. Because, like anything else, you take what you've seen in the past and you learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the average player today is 10 times better than the average player in Michael's days, and I'll stand by that. I'm not trying to take anything away from Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to explain why I think what LeBron has done over his career is so just next level.
Right.
And I feel like this is me shitting on Michael Jordan. It's not. I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. I literally dressed up as him when I was a kid for my Heroes project in the 3rd grade.
Right.
I am such a huge Michael Jordan fan, but just trying to sit back and be unbiased. I'm also a huge LeBron fan, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But trying to sit back and be unbiased, just the things LeBron has done, the things he can do, the not only where Michael was just all basketball, I'm not getting into politics, I'm not doing this, Republicans buy sneakers too, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron has taken these things on his back. He's taken his causes. He's doing all these things while keeping his focuses elsewhere as well. Not that he's not focusing on basketball, not that he doesn't put everything he has into basketball, but he has his school. He has his social work things. When things come up, he's willing. He was ready to shut down the whole playoffs this year.
Yep.
Where he wouldn't have gotten his 4th championship, but he was ready to do it. So I think things like that are kind of what put LeBron next level for me.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes to say, oh, we can only do it when he had AD. You could only do it, when he had Chris Bosh and fucking Dwayne Wade and blah, 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 blah. And it's just he did it with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Back when they just had Kyrie. And it was just him and Kyrie.
Yeah. And as we've seen... As we've seen as he's moved to the Jets, Kyrie isn't what we thought he was.
Right.
In my opinion.
He also
I said the Jets, I meant the Nets, sorry.
We knew what you meant. But he also did get the Cavaliers to the finals before Kyrie was in the league. Now, granted, they got swept by the Spurs, I believe, in 08 or 09, whatever year it was. But look who was on that team. You had a young LeBron James, maybe 5 years in the league at that point, maybe 6. I think Drew Gooden,
Oof.
Big Z.
Oof. Forget how long LeBron's been in the league.
I want to say Ty Lue might have been on that team.
He might have been. And he's a fucking coach now.
Yeah. But, yeah, he took that team, and like I said, they got swept, but he was able to take that team of, let's be real, bums, to the finals. That's pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
And, people have come out, I forget the exact quote.
You got to remember, he was a child doing all this.
Yeah. And, going off your point of how Jordan made the game, more accessible and, you get the better players coming and playing, I think it was, Magic and Larry made the game entertaining. Michael made the game global. So, naturally, you're getting all these kids that are growing up watching Michael Jordan in the 90s and stuff and being like, yo, look at him. Look, yo, he makes that look cool. I can do that too, And, yo, this is where you're getting, the next generation, the cream of the crop is everyone's going to be like, all right, I'm Jordan. I'm going to be like him. Then you got the Kobe's,
Right.
who have gone on record and said that, like, hey, I learned a lot from Mike, and I took what he did, and I took what I did, and I merged it into two. And then you get to LeBron's that are just unreal. Like, the man is 35 years old. I think he was averaging like 30 some odd points for the finals or something like that. Some ridiculous number. And is still like playing like he's young. Like, he's still hungry.
As my new homie Tom Brady would say, not bad for a washed up old man.
Not bad for a washed up old man who can count. But nah, you gotta give it to LeBron. Like, not taking anything away from Michael. I love Michael just as much as you and
Yeah.
as much as the next person.
I feel like this is a shitting on LeBron session. I mean, shitting on Michael session. It's not. Michael Jordan, while I might think LeBron is the GOAT at this point, Michael Jordan is the most influential player
Mm-hmm.
in basketball history.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I just think. So, again, while I'm not shitting on Jordan and the magical things he did as a basketball player, but as LeBron said, LeBron needs his damn respect.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say about LeBron? 4-time champion, has done it with multiple teams, multiple scenarios. Man deserves his damn respect.
He deserves the credit for the things he's put into the league, for the things he's put into the world. And I'm happy that people are starting to come around.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, while he might not have the 6 rings and blah, blah, blah that Jordan has, it's not the same league, and people don't seem to understand that.
Right. I mean, there's always going to be... People are always going to be like, oh, well, back then, it was more aggressive, more physical, and, what Jordan had to do was, like, harder, but Jordan always had a great supporting cast around him. Whether when the first 3P happened, it was him, Pippen, Horace Grant, Bill Paxton as your sharpshooter. Get 3 off the back. Cool. And then, Jordan took a break, cleared his mind, went and played baseball to honor his father, and then came back. It's him, Pippen, Rodman, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc. Like, that was a great supporting team. You look at some of the teams that LeBron has had when they won, it's only been like this year, did it with AD, veteran Rajon Rondo, veteran Dwight Howard, and then young Bucks, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso. Back when in Miami, it was basically him, D Wade, Bosh.
Right.
And then your supporting cast.
Right.
And then back in Cleveland, it was him, Kyrie. I think Kevin Love was just feeling himself at that point.
He had a couple seasons where he was feeling himself.
And then J.R. Smith, when, he remembered what was going on.
And he knew what the score was.
Right. So the fact that LeBron has done it with a mix and match of supporting cast and only 1 or 2 other superstars is definitely more. You got to give him the respect, and you got to be like, yo, that's pretty damn impressive.
And like a lot of people like to say, oh, he doesn't elevate people like Jordan did. Look at how Kyrie's been doing.
Yeah.
Look at Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
He is now the face of the Cavaliers, I think.
And did you remember the Cavaliers existed this season at all?
Only time I remember they exist is when I play against them in 2K. And that's usually when I have my best games.
Yeah, exactly. So I really think people just need to start giving LeBron that respect.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it. And I think you're playing yourself because you don't like his politics or you're just too much of a Jordan fan to realize, hey, there's someone out here who's doing this,
and
whether you like it or not.
If you're a fan of the game, you should love what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you, as a fan, you should always want someone to try to dethrone the greatest of your generation or whatever it may be, of your era, I should say. And we're witnessing that right now. And I would love to see who the next superstar is who the next like GOAT could be.
Right. And a lot of people like Tom Brady, obviously the GOAT of quarterbacks right now, but I love that we have a guy coming in like Patrick Mahomes who like it remains to be seen, but he could be challenging for the throne in a few years. You know what I mean? So I like having that parity. I like having these different things. I like people trying to unseat that guy and not be like, oh, well, he was so good. I could like, no, you need that confidence. Like you need to be like, no, I'm going to be better than him.
Right.
Because like, I hate it when people try to say about anything like, oh, well, it's better. Well, just be happy you have it better than this thing or that thing or this whatever. Like that's such a quitter's fucking mentality.
Right.
Like just because you're better than someone at something should not mean you should still not try to do more. You know what I mean? Like, do I think I'm going to be the best podcaster, blah, 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 ever? Am I going to try my hardest to while I'm doing this?
Damn straight we are.
Hell fucking yeah, I am. Because I'm just that, oh, well, you're better than this or you have it better than this person or blah, 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 blah. That is such a fucking quitter's mentality. Get over yourself. Like, whether that's sports, whether that's life, whether that's anything, don't settle for better than something else.
Right.
Settle for the best. Don't settle for the best.
Don't
settle at all.
Settle.
Just go for the best. But yeah, so that's how I feel. And yeah. All right. I think that's about it for us today, Dev. Got anything else?
Quick hitters that we just forgot to mention. Dak Prescott, another good dude.
How the fuck did we forget to mention fucking Dak Prescott, dude?
Because there was a lot of shit going on with the Jets that kind of distracted us.
I got very mad.
Yeah, but it's all good though. And I mean, horrible injury.
I feel so bad for him. This is exactly what he was trying to avoid.
Right. And how can you not root for Dak? Like after everything he goes through, you know, with his mom getting cancer and unfortunately passing away a couple years ago, his brother committing suicide as a result of his mom passing away. And Dak has just been there for his family, there for his teammates, and has just been trying to get paid. And Jerry Jones.
He's trying to set up his people.
Right. And Jerry Jones just needs to be like, you know what? I got to pay the dude. He has single-handedly like kept your team afloat and was balling out on a 1-year franchise tag deal.
I think he had the fourth most it was either fourth highest QBR or fourth most yards in the first 4 games of the season ever. Like he was on track to challenge for Kurt Warner's record.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Like he could have been walking out at the end of this season if he was healthy, MVP.
Yeah.
And no one would be like, oh well, yeah. Well,
and that's something you haven't really seen from Dak in a while.
Right. And he put that team on his back. And even with the defense not helping him out, he's still balling out. Like,
yeah.
Like, let's pay the man already. Let's set him up so he can set up his people and do what he's got to do.
But I just feel like this is just going to be an excuse for Jerry Jones to not do right by Dak.
Yeah. It's funny because Stephen Jones has come out and said he's our quarterback of the future. But we all know Jerry's the one that signs the checks.
And we all know that don't ever trust a single word that Jones say.
Right.
You can't tell I'm not a huge fan of the Joneses.
Fuck them boys.
Yeah, for real. But so yeah, it's just terrible, and especially because he took everything in stride. Like they had that little contract dispute, but once he got in the room, he was like, "All right, we doing this? Let's fucking do it."
Right.
Put his head down, worked, proved that he needed to get paid that money. I mean, at the very least, the rest of his contract, the 30 whatever million he was going to make this year, is all guaranteed because it's franchise tagged. But it's just because it wasn't just like a season-ending injury. This is a life-altering injury. This is a career-altering injury. Compound fracture of the ankle, dislocated the full thing. There's no wrists and ankles are like some of the hardest things to heal because there's just the lack of blood flow to them. Like this is an injury that takes a long time to come back from.
Crazy thing is that like the injury itself, I think it's only like a 4 to 6 month recovery time. Which, like you see, once you hear it, compound dislocated ankle, it's like holy crap, only 4 to 6 months. But it's going to be that extra time of, do I trust the ankle? Can I still move the same way that I did?
Yeah, but people always say like, "Oh, it's 4 to 6 months rehab, blah 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 blah." That's just to get it back normal.
Right.
Now you have to get it back to a football strength.
Right.
To the running, the gunning, the throwing, the getting hit by fucking 600-pound men, like.
Right. And also the trusting that the ankle will hold up for as long as it does.
And hold up through the cuts and through the whatever. Like, I have like, I can have knee problems at times. I'm tall as hell. It's just how life works. And like I like doing I do like jiu-jitsu and boxing and stuff, and it's fun. But when that knee starts to like swell up a little bit and get a little sore, just doing these little cuts is the hardest. Like, the littlest things becomes the hardest things.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the exact thing that's going to put the pressure on that area.
Yep.
So it can be so much more of a comeback than originally was stated.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Gordon Hayward came out on Twitter like, yo, when my leg injury happened, it really helped me to talk to other people who had been through these injuries. Like, it helped my mental state. And he just reached out to Dak. He was just like, yo, Dak, if you need to like talk this through, like what you're going to be looking at rehab, just call me, man. Like, we'll figure this out. Yeah. I think I love seeing things like that. I like seeing people being like, you know what, like, this guy was a good dude. Some bad things happened to him. Let me do what I can to help.
And I feel like in today's age, that's actually more prevalent. Like you said, you got Gordon Hayward reaching out. I'm pretty sure Paul George has probably offered some words of encouragement, because he also suffered a horrible leg compound fracture.
Yeah.
So like, it's good to see that everyone, the sports world, is like, hey, if you need help, we got you.
Yeah, because I feel like back in the day, everyone was like them more that like for myself mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like today, especially with like the Twitters and the stuff, you get access to understanding people's lives a little more.
Yep.
Like, and what they go through. And so these guys that also go through it are like, yo, like, I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
So it leads to it a little more just because there's more access.
Right.
They don't have to call someone who they think might have the guy's number and then, yo, let me call him and send him a fax. Like,
right. Just easily reach out to through a tweet, DM the homie. Yo,
you good?
Here's my number.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, I got you.
Yeah. So I just think things are cool like that. Yeah, I'm wishing Dak the speediest and healthiest and fullest recovery he can possibly have. He just seems like a good dude. He seems like he took it all in stride, and like he could have went out the Earl Thomas route.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just like, you know what? I'm good.
I'll get through this.
And I'm coming back stronger, and that's what I like to see.
And the world better be on notice.
Yeah, for real. All right, Dev, I think that's it for us today, though.
I think that is.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We are the Basement Boys, and see you.
Deuces.
Welcome to the basement.